Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Rib Crib, smoking good stuff since '92.
Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deion Amade. Gavin Freeman's a triple threat for the Heritage Hall Chargers. He's a receiver, a corner, and a returner. We'll meet him in just a minute. We have highlights from week 2 of the Ford Game of the Week, and my man Michael Knight will join us with the latest on high school football in Oklahoma, and maybe, just maybe, he'll have some recruiting news for us as well. Well, let's go ahead and meet Heritage Hall's Gavin Freeman. I'm telling you right now, maybe the shiftiest guy in the state of Oklahoma, my man Gavin Freeman from Heritage Hall is with us today. Gavin, how's it going?
I'm going good. How are you?
Not too bad, my man. Not too bad. All right. Like I'm sure you know, here at Ford High School Weekly, we like to let the viewers get to know you a little bit. So we like to do the pregame before we start hitting the hard-hitting questions. Is that cool with you?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right. Let me ask you this first question. If you couldn't play football, what other sport would you play?
Probably baseball. I'd probably have to go with baseball, yeah.
Why is that?
Just because it uses a lot of like side-to-side movement with base running, the speed as in outfield and stuff like that, hand-eye coordination.
So have you played baseball before, or is it just one of your favorite sports to watch?
Yes, I have. I played it up until sophomore year.
Next question, a little basic, but go ahead and tell me your favorite color and why.
It's got to be electric blue. It's just really slick, it's shiny, and it just looks good.
How did I know you were going to choose that Heritage Hall blue, man? All right, so with that being said, what is your favorite car?
A Hellcat. I'll have to go with the Hellcat.
All right, you got to tell me the reason or the story behind that.
It's just you can like customize it and make it. You can add horsepower, and it just sounds mean and fast.
Yeah, I would imagine you like going really fast. I mean, watching you play, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
All right, one last question before we start getting into the bigger ones. Your favorite thing to do with your friends, playing video games or watching a movie?
Probably playing video games.
Why is that?
Just because you get to talk. It's not always about the video games, but you get to talk and make jokes and just stuff like that. It's just fun.
What's your favorite video game to play with your friends right now?
Probably Fortnite. I haven't played in a while, but I'm probably a little rusty.
I like it. Now, Gavin, I mean, I've seen you play. It's phenomenal. But I start to wonder, why did you, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but why did you start playing football from the very beginning?
Well, it's been in my family for as long as I can remember. My grandpa played middle linebacker at Oklahoma State. My dad was tight end at Oklahoma. You could say it's in my blood, and I just want to follow their footsteps and play football.
You kind of having that family lineage, is there any kind of pressure playing football in the state of Oklahoma, knowing that who your dad is and how big he was at Oklahoma, and then you said your grandpa played at Oklahoma State? Is there any pressure behind it?
Maybe a little bit. Probably maybe a little bit, but in the end, I just got to play.
You already mentioned your dad, and I know he's on the staff over there at Heritage Hall. So how is it playing for your dad?
It's cool. It's cool for sure. It's cool to be coached by him just because you've grown up with him in your whole life. So if some things don't make sense, and then if he says something else, and it'll make more sense. And then there's always it's like tough love. You'll get yelled at, but he still loves you. He wants you to succeed. So it's pretty cool.
Has it always been that situation for you? Did you always kind of understand it the way you do as far as the tough love aspect?
Yeah. By the way we've been raised, yeah, tough love for sure. Just do the right thing and do it well.
So is there any difference from your dad on the field to off the field as far as him being your coach, or is it or your dad? Is there a little bit of separation there?
A little bit, a little bit. There's for sure more yelling on the field, but that just comes with the sport.
So when you guys go home, do you continue to talk about the game and kind of incorporate it all, or is it a situation where once we get inside the house, no more football, it's just straight dad here?
Yeah. We have football on pretty much every day that it's available. We talk about it all the time. I learn stuff new pretty much every day, whether it's college or NFL. And yeah, we talk about ball all the time.
Getting back to your game, I know you're primarily a wide receiver over there at Heritage Hall, but you play so many different positions. I mean, returner, cornerback. I mean, I think you even hold extra points and stuff. So which one of these positions is your favorite at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, probably receiver, just because the ball's in my hand more and I can make more plays. But corner is growing on me too, just because you're on the island a lot, so you basically, it's up to you kind of whether or not you can make plays and make good plays. But yeah, probably for sure receiver.
What type of receiver would you describe yourself? And now take your time here. I don't want you to feel hurt. What type of receiver would you kind of say that you are?
Pretty much just just whenever I have the ball in my hands, just to score. Not scoring is not an option. Just score, pretty much score every time, make a big play, keep moving.
What wide receiver do you model your game off of then?
Probably have to be Sterling Shepard, just because we're on the undersized scale, you could say, as in height. But it doesn't mean our heart's down. We got big heart, and that's just how I play, just like Sterling. Good player.
So is it primarily because he's close to your neck of the wood, or is a situation where you grew up watching him? Like why Sterling Shepard?
There's probably a little bit. Yeah, grew up watching him. I watched him at OU a lot before I came to Heritage. I really liked him then because he was insane there. But yeah, I've watched him since I was younger, for sure.
As far as his game, what aspect of his game do you try to incorporate into yours the most?
Probably the quickness, just getting in and out of routes. Being able to go into a route and come out with the same speed, and focus on the ball at the same time.
Gavin's got to be thinking about some of his college choices. We'll take a look at some of those when Ford High School Weekly continues. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with Heritage Hall's own Gavin Freeman. You mentioned that wide receiver is your favorite position. Is that the position that you're looking to play at the next level?
Yes, sir, for sure. Yeah, slot receiver.
What schools are looking at you right now?
Right now, Texas Tech, Tulsa, Memphis, OSU, a little bit of OU, Hawaii, a couple others. Air Force for sure.
With all those schools that you named, you named some here locally, you named some around the world, you even mentioned Hawaii. Is there any chance of you not staying in Oklahoma and taking your talents elsewhere around the United States?
Wherever I can play the biggest ball possible, just wherever. That's pretty much. I'm fine with any college that's the biggest competition possible.
So other than playing for the team that brings the most to the table, what other aspects are you looking into a university? Like what dynamic do you want to play into your decision making?
Again, it's probably just any of the biggest competition. I know I said that before, but that's pretty much it. Just like the biggest, where I can showcase my abilities, and have fun.
I like that answer, man. I like that. this season for Heritage Hall it's gone off to a really good start. I mean, I've seen some of your highlights. You're doing some pretty dynamic things. So I'm not asking you not to be humble over here, but go ahead and list off some of the stats for the people that you've kind of acquired in these early days of the season.
First game against Millwood, I had a pick six called back. I think it was gonna be 70, I think ish. And then I had another pick. They called incomplete, but I actually caught it. But they called it incomplete. And then I had a touchdown. It might have been 45-ish, maybe. And then I think I had like 160 all-purpose yards-ish on like 4 offensive touches or so. And then Clinton, I had a 70-something yards scoop and score. And then I had another catch for 60 maybe. And then I had an 86-yard punt return. And I think it totaled 322 all-purpose yards.
The way you're listing that off, it seems like you don't really check the stats that much at the end of the games. Yeah. All this ish, I think. Yeah, so you don't really look at the stats, huh?
A little bit. I don't really remember the yardage.
What are your goals for this season for your team over there at Heritage Hall?
State championship.
Point blank period. Nothing, no other, aspects or any just gold ball. Not that's the end.
Yeah, gold ball for sure.
All right, as far as an individual, what are some of the things that you want to accomplish?
Being a better leader, for sure. Just making sure we can get the best out of this team, whether that's by leading the younger kids, leading the older ones, just being a role model.
When you take care of your job, how do you think it affects your teammates?
I think it shows that no matter the size, no matter what people say, you can get it done, and it just gives them life.
You mentioned the gold ball and it's state championship or bust. So when it comes down to it, what does your team need to do as far as goals and things to clean up and take care of that you've seen early in this year to reach that gold ball?
I'd say probably on the mental mistake side, less mental mistakes, probably starting faster, and just start fast and keep the foot on the pedal.
Well, I can speak from experience, man. It takes a lot to get that done, and I believe since I've seen you guys play that you guys can accomplish it.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Gavin, for joining us today. And remember, only the best in Oklahoma get to come to this show, and you're definitely one of those. So keep it up this year, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We sure did have a lot of rivalry games last week in Oklahoma, and I think my guy Michael Knight might have something to say about that. We'll hear from him when Ford High School Weekly continues. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your man, Deion Amade, and joining me like he does every week from Prep Red Zone, my man, Michael Knight. Michael, how's it going?
It's a busy week. It's a busy week for sure, but it's good, man. It's going good.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about last week's action. Week 2 was underway here in Oklahoma high school football, and it seemed like it was rivalry week. I mean, we had the Backyard Bowl, we had the Patriots Bowl, both of them kind of a blowout. But which one of those games kind of surprised you the most on the outcome?
Oh, it has to be Jenks. It really does. I think that, no offense to Broken Arrow, but I thought Owasso would handle business in that one. Maybe not necessarily 42-3, but I thought that they would win handily. Jenks, I didn't see it coming. I mean, I talked on this show last week that I thought Union was the better team. Yeah. They weren't, at least in the Backyard Bowl. They got shut out for the second straight year. Jenks showing that defense is absolutely a dominant side of the ball for them. And then, of course, a big storyline coming out of it was that freshman, Shaker Reisig, getting the start for them, finding out that he's going to start in the Backyard Bowl the morning of the Backyard Bowl. So not only, does he come out and have a good performance, but he obviously has the trust in that coaching staff that they know he wasn't going to freak out by the moment. He obviously has a bright future and got his career off on the right foot with a big shutout victory over arch rival Union.
Yeah, he certainly did, man. And you got to love the name, Shaker. But we got a lot of football action going on this week as well. So what did you see as far as, the pregame talks about this week's matchups in week 3?
I think, first off, a lot of teams are off this week with them playing in week 0. District play coming up next week. They're taking this week off for a bye week. So I think that there aren't as many games as we might normally see in a week 3. But the 2 biggest ones, without a doubt, are in the Tulsa area. I mentioned Bixby hosting Stillwater. That one's going to be huge. But the game that I'm going to be at on Friday night in Tulsa, it's number 1 versus number 1, champion versus champion. Hall traveling to Metro Christian. I can't wait for that matchup. I've had it circled on my calendar since about June. It's going to be a good game between 2 number 1 teams, 2 defending champs, and 2 state championship contenders for this year as well.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us this week. And again, we'll catch up with you next week to talk about week 3 action and everything. But before you go, you got anything you want to say to the people?
Yeah, absolutely. Normally I use this time to pump the website, follow us on Twitter. No, none of that. This week's a big week for me and my family. We're welcoming our second child. Hopefully, this time yesterday he was born with no problems, but we're definitely excited. Like I mentioned at the start, it's a busy week for us, but just keep me, my wife, our children, and our family in your thoughts and prayers. Hopefully everything goes smoothly through the weekend, and we can continue through football season with the little man, little Wyatt coming home to the Knight family.
Well, he already knows what time it is because he's getting born at football season. So he's making his arrival so he can watch some football in the Knight family.
That's right. It's going to be busy time, but nothing like it, man. We're excited.
Certainly is. Good luck to you and the family. And, man, thank you for joining us again, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
Coming up on Ford High School Weekly, highlights from the Norman versus Moore game and the MidFirst Bank Backyard Bowl.
Stanford back to pass, has Ty Walls open. Walls, it's a foot race to the end zone. He's in, touchdown. Jenks.
Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Week 2 featured a couple of familiar rivalry games. On Thursday night, it was Norman at Moore. Then on Friday night, Jenks visited Union for the 18th edition of the MidFirst Bank Backyard Bowl.
41-30 is our final score once again. Let's take a look at the highlights and get a recap of the highlights here as we put 71 points total tonight on the board.
Yeah, a lot of highlights. Again, we see this. I can't see it enough. Opening kickoff to the house, making it a house call for number 7, Marcus Dawkins. And that's how we started off this contest. But not just that. Norman's defense got in the way a little bit too. My man Knowles, defensive play of the game with that big-time interception in the first quarter. But McCurdy was something to behold. He was a phenomenal athlete all game long. That you see his first touchdown. Then you see Marcus Dawkins again breaking tackles, making stiff arms and running over referees and getting into the end zone on that play. Look at Denver Wolf make connections with Marcus Dawkins for another touchdown. That was his third of the game as he holds up that big 3 in the end zone. This was a very nice return out of halftime. Number 29 for the Tigers, Luke Morrow, returning that all the way down to about the 30-yard line before taking the hard hit and putting this Norman Tigers offense in great field position. But look at this big-time sack by the Moore defense. But the first down was not enough for my man Shackelford as he makes a nice cut, picks up a couple good blocks, and takes this one to his house for the Norman Tigers. And this play right here, McCurdy taking it into the end zone, finding some good blockers and making it a close contest, especially with a 2-point conversion over here by Lambert. Excellent concentration, bringing down the ball, but that wasn't enough to get the ball game close enough to put these Norman Tigers away as they go ahead and get the victory, 41-30.
And we can recap what went on in this football game tonight. Kind of a slow start for both teams. Scoreless first quarter, and Jenks finally got rolling at the start. It was not Jenks. This is in the first quarter. First play from freshman quarterback Shaker Reisnick, an interception by Union's defense, and then he's going to come right back, and on the screen pass hit Jaden Carroll.
Yeah, really settled in, did the freshman and made plays, and watch Carroll turning the wheels, got great blocks downfield and able to get into the end zone. The freshman really settled in that quarterback position. And here's Carroll again. Look at the patience. Now the bounce out. Look at the block he gets right there and able to get into the end zone and make another big play. Take another look. Now this was a special teams play right here. 2-point conversion. Stays with it. Able to get the score. Jenks, they just kind of kept it going right here. And here's the play we talked about. Stanford able to go deep, find his man for the touchdown. Impressive play getting in there, and the Jenks Trojans get it done here tonight.
Ty Walls with the score there. Let's take a look at the stats. Jenks 218 yards passing, 174 rushing, 392 total. And look what their defense did to Union. 197 total yards, and the penalty's a big factor in this one tonight. By Burke, direct snap to Presley, right side. Oh, it's Kirby up there helping block for him. He's got a first down and more. He's going to be gone.
Be sure to go to YurView.com/OK for highlights and replays of the Ford game of the week. And check out our podcast and past episodes at YurView.com/OK. Like I said earlier, only the best in Oklahoma make it to Ford High School Weekly. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Deion Amade.
Ford High School Weekly has been brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Rib Crib, smoking good stuff since '92.